season race. The racing season started last year. We had our season 1 last year. Learned a lot, had a really good time. Excited to see what comes of season 2 here upcoming. But Knapp Daddy Racing actually was originally started as a iRacing design shop, and John has been making paints for people, custom paints. So you can check all those out at knapdaddyracing.com. You can follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, all those wonderful things. And you can check us out over there. We would definitely very much appreciate it, but we have tried to expand and be kind of the one-stop shop for iRacing. Trying to have camera packages. We're also up here broadcasting, got the league and everything. So trying to be your one-stop shop for any and all things iRacing. And we appreciate each and every one of you for joining us here tonight for this first race back. I know I'm really looking forward to it. I know John's been really looking forward to it. The admin team, all these drivers, thanks to all of them for joining in. We're looking forward to a great season here. And if this is your first time, once again, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Helps out a ton. Helps move the stream up in the old YouTube algorithm and all that good stuff. And absolutely comment in the comment section. Cheer on your drivers. Reread them over the air as much as possible. I know a lot of these drivers love to go back, watch these streams, kind of see how they did in the race itself. And I know a lot of them are very, very fond of being able to go back and see friends and family cheering for them and things like that. So with that, I think that's going to be quite enough of my jabbering, but I'm going to turn it over to my broadcast partner this year for the first time in the season 2 of the Knapp Daddy Racing League to say something intelligent about the racing. John, take it away. Let's get this thing started.
Well, I appreciate that intro. That's really good. Not much intelligent things that I have to say for this, but we'll try to give it a go anyways. Coming out here to Michigan International Speedway, it's going to be a 2-mile track with a nice weather out here today at 89 degrees or 67 degrees, track temp at 89 degrees. Not a lot of humidity. It's going to cause too much of a problem for these drivers coming out here, but definitely a fun track, multi-lane track. I think you're going to see this line move as the run goes on. You might see some drivers start very low and try to wrap the bottom of that corner as they go through both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I think the line on 1 and 2 will actually move up to the top side earlier than 3 and 4. And you might see drivers rip the high side in 3 and 4 as the race goes on to the very end. But definitely going to be a very dynamic track. These drivers are going to get about 30 laps of fuel before they do have to pit. Stage break coming up on lap 50 on this 125 lap race. So going to be a good time, and we are about to get into qualifying now.
Yeah, I don't know, we talked about it before, but there's some of these tracks where qualifying is a really big deal. Qualifying might not be such a big deal for other drivers. I think Michigan's definitely been one of those tracks where even though it is borderline super speedway length, I think your position in the start of the race absolutely is going to make a difference. I mean, Michigan's going to be one of those tracks that can really eat your tires up as the race goes on, and position is going to be very, very important on how hard you have to push it to make sure you stay with the track or stay with the pack, or how quick you're able to move up or things like that. I don't know if you agree with that statement necessarily, but that's just been the experience that I've seen.
Yeah, because I mean, you are going to get a little bit of a draft here. It's not going to be anything major, but it's definitely going to make a huge difference. A little bit more than tracks like Auto Club. You'll definitely feel the draft a lot more, a lot less than tracks like Daytona or even like a Pocono on some of those longer stretches. But it can definitely play a huge role here with this, how it's set up and this track is. And really the big concern is cooking those tires as you come out here. I mean, it's very deceptive. Kind of reminds me of a Las Vegas almost. I mean, because Auto Club's very comparable, but the way the tires wear reminds me of a Las Vegas, where you don't really feel like you're wearing the tires as much, but when it comes down to it, you're actually burning them things up. The good news is there is different lines you can drive here that might burn your right front a little bit more. Some lines might burn your right rear just a little bit more. So we'll see some guys play with that. They like to be a little bit more loose off the corner. They might try to burn their right rear up first. If they like to be a little tighter coming in, they might try to burn that right front up first.
Yeah, and I think that's been one of the kind of the harder things for me to figure out. That's been another change since last season was I think through most of last season I had never really been behind the wheel. It was gonna be one of those things where now I've been behind the wheel and seen how this tire wear affects people, and it's pretty serious.
Yeah, for sure. What's actually pretty exciting is we do have some new formation of teams this year with some new drivers. One of those being Ty Robertson coming into the league. Raced with us in one race last year, and I believe he won that race at Homestead, Miami, on the last race of the season. He's out here tonight, going to be on the pole for now. Jamie Horn putting down a very hot lap there, about a 10th off of Robertson though. So Robertson flying around, but teammates with Jamie Horn's going to be Brandon Trush, who's just coming off the track with a really good run, sitting in P3 right now. Teammates with Ty Robertson, your current pole sitter, is Brandon Lopez, coming back for his second season. Got a lot of big expectations for Lopez out here. I know he's been working at it. He's getting better every single race, every single lap. He puts in the work, and I expect some big things out of Lopez.
100%. He was one of the guys that we kind of saw join in later last year and really was able to put on a show. And that's one of the things that I love about, kind of starting a newer league and seeing the season progress, because you usually have a couple more people join as the season goes on, and you get to see some guys that are just really, really exciting drivers. And I know we've got some new guys in here, got some old favorites in here as well, and I think it's going to be really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, out here watching Zach Baker right now get his first few laps in. Love that beard that Baker has going on there with that Trash Panda Autosports team. Don't let me mess it up. I know I'm going to say Motorsports at some point, but Zach Baker coming back out here with teammates Frank Marchese, Greg McConey as well, and I believe Brian Gibbons is on that team too. Newcomer Brian Gibbons sitting in 7th place right now. Baker coming around ripping that first lap. See where that's going to put him in the 14th position, right above Dagan Barnes. Yeah, he's still got one more fast lap here that he can get. Meanwhile, Greg McConey just finishing up his lap, going to put him in the 3rd place spot. And I mean, if you had to make a pick for the night, Greg McConey is a guy to pick. This is I believe, hometown track for him. The guy's good here. We've seen it time and time again. He knows what he's doing. I've got my pick for the night so far, but I mean, Greg McConey's hard to argue with here.
Oh, 100%. I mean, if you hadn't kind of taken it away there, I think Greg probably would have been my one to watch for the night. We've seen him, and honestly, a lot of the Trash Panda guys are very, very strong in Michigan. I know they put in a lot of time out here. I know for Trash Panda Motorsports to have a great night here, especially Greg. And we have a super, super tight qual. I mean, looks like Ty Robertson's going to take the pole. I've seen out of Ty before from some other leagues where the guy can put down just some insanely fast qualifying times. But you know as well as I do that qualifying does not always translate to the end of the race, but definitely a good place to be starting up there in first. But as these guys grid up, we're going to be able to get you your grid while that's coming up. Check some of our comments here. Got 14 people in the stream right now, so thank you very, very much, each and every one of you, for joining us here tonight. Got the Jamie Rose with some fire emojis, and sorry about my number. I have a rap made, but it's trading paints being down. I'm not sure who Jamie Rose. I probably do know who Jamie Rose is. It's probably James Rossetti would be the logical choice there. Hunter, good job. Professional broadcasting. Got Michael Lopez 2617 saying let's go, and then Kalar1261 saying Rossetti fire. James Rossetti got some fans out here in the crowd tonight as we get these guys gridded up and ready to go.
Yeah, and as these guys grid up, we are just going to take a quick 5-second break to fix one audio issue, and we'll be right back. And we are back. Why don't you go ahead and give us a quick grid, see if you can get this done on the backstretch here.
Is there any chance you can do the grid read here really quick?
Absolutely. So your starting grid is going to be Ty Robertson starting out on that pole side. He's actually going to be with Last Row Motorsports. Him and Brandon Lopez joining together. Second on the outside of him is going to be Jamie Horn, Greg McConey in third, Brandon Trush in fourth. Then you're going to have Brandon Lopez in fifth, Ira Kohlhaas in sixth. Good to see him back. Brian Gibbons seventh, Everett Larson eighth, Ronald Breland ninth, Zach Baker 10th, Mitchell Wilson is going to be in 11th, and Scott Matthews in 12th. And behind them, you're going to have Dagan Barnes and James Rossetti to round out your field tonight. So we're trying to get that going just a little bit quicker there than usual, but we are green flag racing here. Jamie Horn with a quick run here to the outside. Teammate Brandon Trush right behind him. Already 3 wide around Ty Robertson. Greg McConey's there on the inside.
And a back.
Welcome back. We are 3 wide here. Brandon Trush down the high side. Ty Robertson in the middle. That's McConey in the 16 car still below him there. Jamie Horn has jumped out to a very nice lead here.
The reason I had to jump out there for a second was to put on to something that one of our other lovely admins, Mr. Greg McConey, was able to bring me to the attention of, which was a slight mistake in the creation of the session, I believe, which is that unlimited fast repairs are apparently a thing tonight. Let's have a blast. Go fast, go left. Who do you like, or do you want me to take it first? Yeah, I think Greg's going to have a great night here. I know we were saying it earlier. I also love the Ty Robertson pick. Been able to see him in some other leagues. He's a very, very fast driver, knows what he's doing. But I think Greg McConey is going to be there at the very end, and I think that Greg's going to be able to get it done here tonight in the first race of the season. Still a very, very... And we're starting to see some of that separation start to happen. That's going to be one of those things you are going to be seeing at Michigan. You know, it's one of those weird tracks where it is long enough, almost long enough to be a super speedway, but there is still a lot of different lanes you can take. So draft is not going to be as important in Michigan as it would be on a lot of other longer tracks, because there's just so many different lines you can take, so many different ways to work your way around this track. But I feel like a lot of times you're going to start to see a lot of separation at Michigan, and more of the battling that you're going to be focusing on is how the guys are saving their tires, or how many positions they're trying to move up and how quickly. Like, are they able to hang on to it, managing fuel strategy, things like that. I think that's one of the really exciting things about watching Heritage. I'm back again. Got John Larson in the comments here saying boogity, boogity, boogity. The Michigan restart very much kind of is a boogity, boogity, boogity. It's pretty fun to watch. Yeah, 100%. And again, just it goes back to like really just Michigan racing. I mean, you see these guys up there at front battling it out. That's obviously really great racing by both of those guys, but you also have to take into consideration what tire wear is going to look like here and how your tires are going to be look coming into the stage breaks and things like that. A lot of times we will see guys start really turning it up as we get closer to the stage breaks. A reminder for everybody at home, we do throw a caution for our stage break. Everyone gets a chance to come down pit road. It's when the 10th place driver crosses the start finish line to make it lap 51. That is so we can track the bonus points for the stage. First place driver gets 10 bonus points, second gets 9, third gets 8, so on and such forth down that particular math line. And then as far as you see guys leading laps, I believe it's been Ty Robertson out front most of this race so far. But you do get a bonus point for leading a lap in general, but you do not get points per lap led. So it doesn't matter whether you led, in this case, 124 laps and someone else takes the race lead at the very, very end, they will get the same amount of points that you would have gotten for leading laps. We'll obviously get some more points for winning the race, but definitely seeing some good racing out of these guys right now. Seeing Greg McConey sitting back there in 4th place right now, very, very comfortable in maintaining his speed really well, starting to get almost seems like a little bit closer to that bumper of Brandon Trush.
Yeah,
seems like he dropped back just a little bit right there, and then he's got Everett Larson, who's going to be right behind him. That's going to be one of the newer members to the league as well, racing on the Last Row Motorsports team with Brandon Lopez, Thomas McLaughlin, and Ty Robertson.
Yeah, I just realized that my mic was muted for probably the last 5 minutes here, talking about some good old strategy and how to manage some tires, about which line to drive and everything. But
Fun.
yeah, pretty much you can manipulate these tires if you drive a little bit deeper into a corner. You can burn up that right front, and it's going to make your car a little tighter. If you drive off a little earlier, it's going to make that car looser by burning up that right rear. So different driving styles definitely going to come into effect here and play out. Just depends on what you like and what you can handle over the long run. Everett Larson doing a really good job sitting in P5 right now, trying to make this pass on Greg McConey, but as I also said earlier with my mic muted, I believe that you can take that low side. It is the shortest part of the track. I'm a big believer in taking the shortest part of the track, but also that high side is going to play so much on the exits, and especially on the back stretch, coming out of there and getting a lot of speed to get around somebody.
Yeah, 100%. We're starting to see Everett Larson try to get a run here as well. Ira Kohlhaas running really well there in the 6th position. Not a whole lot of race position changes so far. Brandon Trush up 1 spot from 4th to 3rd. Greg McConey started in 3rd, back to 4th, so all they've done is trade a spot. Everett Larson up 3 spots right now from 8th to 5th. Got Mitchell Wilson, another one of the newcomers to the league. Started in 11th, currently going to be in 8th, and that's going to be Midwest Motorsports. His teammate Dagan Barnes. Mitchell Wilson is going to be new to the league as well. Going to see Trash Panda Motorsports, a teammate Zachary Baker there, going to be sitting in 9th place. Trash Panda Auto Sport. Got to get into the habit again because I screwed that up for like a good half of the season last year.
It just sounds European, right?
It is Trash Panda Auto Sport. God in heaven, I got to get that right. Zach Baker going to be sitting back in 9th place, up 1 spot from his starting position. Brian Gibbons and that number 74 machine going to be sitting in 10th place right now, down a couple of spots. Ronald Breland going to be racing side by side with Frank Marchese right now. Little bit of contact right there. Looked like it was just a couple of guys racing hard. Heard Ronald come over the radio. Unintentional contact right there. Frank Marchese able to move past Ronald Breland. Scott Matthews going to be trying to catch up to both Brian Gibbons and Frank Marchese there. Scott Matthews currently going to be sitting in 13th place. Thomas McLaughlin sitting in 14th. Dagan Barnes in 15th. And James Rossetti going to be in 16th place right now. But as we said earlier, Michigan is a very, very long race. There is a lot that can happen, a lot that can go wrong, a lot that can go right in terms of Michigan. So where you start is not necessarily where you are going to finish.
Greg and Brandon Trush going at it right now. Greg McConey trying to do everything he can to get around Brandon Trush. I mean, it's tough. Like, I'm telling you, like, you might look pretty good if you run that low side. I can get around somebody early in the exit, but if they're running anything 2 lanes up, they're going to have such a run off of the exit there, and it's going to be really good for them to maintain that spot. So, I mean, it's very tough. You got to time it just right. Really, you cannot be afraid to not wash up on somebody, but kind of slide up like you see Greg doing right there, right behind Brandon Trush, trying to use every part of the track possible.
Yeah, I saw very similar movement there out of both Jamie Horn and Greg McConey, which was exactly what you were saying at the time, where if you're going to kind of take that low entry, try to get that run, be a little bit of an early entry, like you've got to be confident enough to know how wide your car is, exactly where you're at, and let it run back up there, up the track toward the wall. So otherwise, if you're trying to hold it down on a track like Michigan, I mean, it is going to eat your tires for lunch.
And looks like Jamie Horn trying to get low there, not able to do it. Teammate Brandon Trush going to give him a little bit of a bump there to get him going. Maybe get some good speed on this high side to try to get it around Ty Robertson. Robertson with a really good block. Robertson's going to take that high side.
Yeah, and those guys are battling up front right now. I mean, that's just really good strategic work by both of those guys. It's kind of like what we were saying earlier, where Michigan's one of those tracks where, like, yeah, you might not see that, you know, hard-nosed side-by-side racing other than on restarts or, you know, when guys are kind of coming up on each other. But other than that, it's very much a strategy race, knowing where you can enter, knowing what your tires can handle and what they can't, and knowing where your other competitors are leaving you those openings. Just right there, it looked like maybe Ty Robertson got a little bit higher up the track than we saw Jamie send it down to the bottom of the track really, really quickly. Did a great job. Ty able to just get such a big run on the high side. He's able to hold off Jamie Horn. Jamie Horn not able to get around Ty Robertson at all, it seems, during this race so far.
Yeah, I kind of want to point something out here too is we get back around here to the front stretch, but especially when we come out of turn 2. Ooh, Brandon Trush, Jamie Horn going low, trying to get the push to get a good run. Remember, if you start low, though, you got to brake a little earlier. Or let off the gas a little earlier here, I should say. And Jamie Horn's going to push it, watch the slide job, not going to be able to get it.
like Brandon Trush got a little bit loose right there. I think he was trying to get it back up like we were talking earlier. I think he might have just slid it just a little too much. That's going to give Everett Larson the opportunity to get alongside of him there and give Greg McConey an opportunity to gain some ground as well. This top four, really this top five, has been going at it hard this race so far. Normally at Michigan by lap 22, I would have expected a lot more separation out of the top five, and these guys all within about 0.6 of a second of each other.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of going back to your point about the draft. Like, it doesn't really help you much here. It does, but it doesn't, I should say, because it definitely keeps you with the pack. If you lose the draft, you're going to lose that pack, but you're still able to race and kind of maintain. But the key for some of these guys up here at the front, especially our Kohlhaas right now, stick with that draft on somebody so I can stay with that front pack and have myself in a position to pass here in a second. Going back to the next little section here, Brandon Lopez leading this next small pack. It's going to be Brandon Lopez, Mitchell Wilson, Zach Baker sitting in 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Look what we got here now. We have Brandon Trush kind of staying in that draft with Ty Robertson up top. Greg McConey using that to stick really close with those other guys. It looks like that top lane's actually getting a little bit of momentum right there. Jamie Horn forced to go back up the track. Because otherwise it kind of seemed like Brandon and Greg were going to raid right on by right there.
And I'm really interested to see how Greg plays this one out here, too. He's gotten around Everett Larson while we're checking back on the pack there. But I know Greg thinks about this track and has a really good approach here. I'm kind of interested to see how he is going to run, which line he's going to choose to try to get around these guys. I mean, he looks like he's gaining, looks like he's a lot faster right now. As we're coming probably to the end of this fuel cycle.
We're going to be able to start seeing some of those green flag pit stops here very, very shortly. Looked like Jamie Horn and Brandon Trush wanted to go to the low side right there, but then they decided to take it back up the track. Now Greg McConey going to take it all the way down to the bottom. He's going to be side by side with Brandon Trush. Thought he was maybe going to be able to catch some draft there. It looks like Greg's going to actually go ahead and bring it in. Going to be one of the first to bring it down. Strategy play from Greg McConey.
I love it. Our Kohlhaas coming up here now on the bumper in P5, trying to catch up to Everett Larson.
It looks like Greg's Trash Panda teammates choosing to stay out at least for right now. So we're seeing some different strategy out of the different teammates right there. Just adds to the mystery of the whole situation. I love it.
And speaking of teammates, Frank Marchese sitting in 10th place. He is up 3 spots for the night right now. Teammate Brian Gibbons right in front of him is 9th place. And Zach Baker sitting in 8th. It's like Ira Kohlhaas is going to bring it down. And I saw Greg exiting pit road there on the low side. Yeah, we have a battle up here right now for the front.
We really do. So Greg's still currently only person to have brought it down so far. So, oh, no, I lied. Ira Kohlhaas has also brought it down. Greg McConey now back out on the track. Gonna have dropped back to 16th place, but I mean, realistically, when you look at it, it's like Ira Kohlhaas is bringing off of pit road there. That lead pack had just gotten around him, so he is a lap down barely, but with those fresh tires, all those guys in front of him are gonna have to be here very, very shortly. Interesting strategy play out of Greg, but I actually think the timing of when he decided to bring it down would work out really, really well for him. Oh, looks like someone was stuck up against the wall there for a second. I think that was the 01 of Everett Larson.
Yeah, Everett dropping back just a little bit there. Going to lose a little bit on that front pack. Should be able to catch back up here with a good draft from this exit here. Then we can jump into a
Steady has also brought it down pit road. It looks like it's gonna be a little bit of a slower stop for James as well. I believe he just missed his pit box, so he had to throw that thing in reverse just a little bit to get it going.
And see, here's the thing too with pit strategy. You have to think about this as well. If you're riding that top side religiously and staying up there the entire time, you are going to burn more fuel than if you were to ride that bottom side. And it might not be by much, but it could be a lap or two, and that could make the difference the way these fuel cycles are set up for this race. These guys are going to get about 30 to 32 laps. It's a 125 lap race and a stage break right in the middle of that second fuel cycle at lap 50, just to kind of invoke some strategy there just a little bit.
Yeah, 'cause depending on when you choose to bring it down, looks like we got Jamie Horn and Brandon Trush staying on the high side. Ty Robertson going to bring it down. Looks like Everett Larson going to follow right behind him. So Brandon Trush and Jamie Horn going to choose to keep it out here on lap 31. Yeah, definitely. Depending on when you decide to bring it down. I mean, if you can go into the stage break and still have a little bit of gas, if you've been able to push it out that far, do you think we might see someone like maybe trying to keep it out on the stage break, trying to get the position back, trying to restart towards the front? Or, I mean,
well, they're definitely going to have to pit here in the next few laps, way before the break happens. But I think,
oh, for sure,
some guys that are trying to stretch it might do it, but that's why I kind of like Greg's strategy of pitting a little bit earlier, so now that fuel window is not so much of a weird fuel window for him, and he can kind of just stretch it all the way out till that point now.
Yeah. And then you kind of have the choice as well, because, I mean, now you're going to have the situation with Greg being the first that brought it down. Now, yeah, you are a lap down currently, but everyone in front of you also still has to pit, and you're on fresh tires. So all that time in the meantime that these guys aren't pitting, Greg's going to be able to put down really, really fast times. It's like Thomas McLaughlin just now bringing it off of pit road as well. I believe I'm seeing Dagan Barnes signal that he's going to be bringing it down.
Yeah, he's going to be following Jamie Horn, Brandon Trush, Mitchell Wilson, Brian Gibbons.
Brandon Lopez just now coming off of pit road. Like you said, Mitchell Wilson coming down pit road. Brian Gibbons coming down. Still going to have... oh, there it is. Jamie Horn and Brandon Trush officially have brought it down at this point. So it is going to be the number 12 of Zach Baker that was able to get that last lap leg, get a little bonus point action going for himself, as he's locking it up to bring it down pit road.
Greg McCoy coming around with a head full of steam. He's going to be taking the lead here. Everett Larson right there on this inside, trying to make a move here. Stage point so critical, you cannot understate it. I understand it's just 1 point for a playoff, but it makes the difference whenever you go into a playoff and you are maybe 5 points above the next person. Once we hit playoff time, all points will reset for all these drivers, but they will be able to keep their points they accrued over stage points and wins that are definitely going to help them out come playoff time.
100%. And now we're going to have to start seeing some drivers here that maybe don't typically work with each other a little bit to try to maintain these positions for those bonus points. We got Greg McConey and we got Everett Larson. We got a Trash Panda Auto Sport team and Everett Larson, who is going to be one of the newer drivers to the Last Row Motorsports team, leading it off up front. And you're going to have Ty Robertson and Jamie Horn right behind them. Ty Robertson also going to be a teammate with Last Row Motorsports. Jamie Horn will be riding on his own here tonight, and Jamie Horn's teammate in Brandon Trush going to be a good 2 seconds behind.
Let's see how this plays out. Greg's going to take that high side. Everett's going to have space to squeeze up, put that slide on. He's leaving him a gap right now. Greg going to the inside, looking which way he can go.
And there's still 15 laps before that stage break, but you want to make sure that you're in the position that you want to be in going into those last 5 laps. So you can make a move if you have to. You can make sure that you're saving enough as well to realistically, again, I know we're kind of beating a dead horse on this, but Michigan will tear your tires up, man. If you try to push it too hard in 15 laps to try to get the stage, you could end up losing quite a bit of the position just in that short amount of time, especially with fast guys behind you who are trying to get back up there.
Yeah, I mean, these drivers are doing such a good job right now, keeping it clean all the way around. No cautions as the lap 36, and if I had to bet, I thought it was going to come on the first 2 or 3 laps off of turn 2. As there's a little spot where it seems like it flattens out a little bit as you come out of turn 2, and that seems to get a lot of people loose there. See if we can hop on board here. Apologize, that is a little loud there. We were riding along here with Everett Larson. Coming out of this corner, it flattens out just about right here, and a lot of people get very loose as they come out of that corner.
Just as an update as well, got Greg McConey still up there battling with Everett Larson for the race lead right now. Ty Robertson and Jamie Horn going to be battling in 3rd and 4th place right now. Ira Kohlhaas a couple seconds behind in 5th place. Brandon Trush only 0.2 of a second behind him in 6th place. Brandon Lopez currently going to be sitting in 7th place right now. Mitchell Wilson and Zach Baker going to be side by side for 8th and 9th. About 4 seconds behind them, you're going to find Frank Marchese in 10th place. Ronald Breland going to be in 11th. Brian Gibbons going to be sitting in 12th place right now. Thomas McLaughlin in 13th. Dagan Barnes currently going to be sitting in 14th place. James Rossetti is in 15th. He is going to be your first driver a lap down. And Scott Matthews in that number 7 is going to be 2 laps down, currently sitting in 16th position. James obviously in that position to get his lap back once the caution flag comes out for the stage break. John Larson in the comments, boogity, 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 Sandra Horn. Saying good luck, Jamie Horn, number 98. Sandra, good to have you in the chat as always. I believe since me and John really got our start in broadcasting, one of the standbys that we can always count on is Sandra Horn in the comments.
Absolutely. Always got Mama Horn in the comments. Sometimes we have a Mama Trush pop in here too.
I believe very often we'll have a Mama Trush pop in here as well. I haven't seen that one come across the line yet, but again, appreciate everyone for joining in here with us for this first race of the season. I mean, a lot of things are going to change as the season goes on. You're going to see some new faces come in, and you're going to hopefully see us continue to improve the broadcast. I know it might have been a little bit shaky at points here tonight. This is our first official race back after a pretty long break here, so maybe dusting off a little bit of the cobwebs here, but we are definitely going to continue to do the very best we can and try to put out the very best product that we can for each and every one of you. We have 20 people in here right now on the stream, which is unbelievable for the first race. Once again, from the bottom of our hearts and for all of these drivers, thank you all so much for joining here with us tonight for a good night of racing. And leave a like, subscribe so you don't miss any of the upcoming Monday night action. We got 10 very exciting races coming up for you here this season. It's going to be a really, really good time.
And we also have a Mama Larson in here too.
Oh, that's a new mother.
Look, the moms of iRacing are a very protected group of people, from us at least.
Yes.
We are very proud of that, and that we can have the moms of iRacing come out and support. Love seeing them here. Always good support. The guys like it too. I mean, they always talk to us about it, how much they love the support, and seeing the comments and afterwards after the race. I know some races last season I didn't have the comments where you can read them afterwards, but that has changed this year.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome because it's really cool. And that's what we really do try to go out of our way to make sure that every comment gets read to, even if the guys are going back and rewatching the race, see how they did, see something happen or whatever the case may be. Want to just gauge their own performance. At least they can go back and also hear where they had family or friends cheering them on. So we appreciate everyone once again for joining it. I know it makes the drivers feel really special. It makes us feel special that you all are joining here with us on a Monday night where there's an NFL playoff game on. So
oh yeah, that is my wife and her whole entire family's team right now. So I'm sure I'll be hearing about that just a little bit later here, but I noticed something with Everett Larson here, speaking of the Larson drive, and as he comes on his backstretch, I'm not sure if he's going to do it this time because I'm bringing it up. Kind of is dropping down a little bit, coming back to the high side. He's trying to break that draft off from Greg McConey behind him. Very smart play there. Trying to cut that space or at least improve that gap and cut the draft off between him and Greg McConey. Greg's very fast right now, but Everett Larson proving to be a match to be dealt with here.
Yeah, 100%. And Everett's one of those guys, again, that's the beauty of a season starting, is you get to kind of learn how these guys drive and see how everyone's kind of moving forward. And Everett Larson, not a guy that I have a lot of experience racing or having seen race or anything like that, but I mean, he is out here putting on a show right now. Greg McConey, someone who we have seen from last season and in other races as well, always going to be a very, very strong competitor. Looks like Everett might have touched the wall just a little bit right there to allow Greg to close in that gap. So being able to see all these different drivers coming together and seeing the different driving styles, being able to kind of matched up one off the other, it's awesome to see. And it just kind of tells the story as the season goes on longer. It's really, really fun to watch as we get even closer to our stage break right here. Everett Larson currently running a 38.978 that last lap. Greg McConey running a 38.969. Definitely seeing a very different driving style out of both of those guys right now. And at least from up here, it looks like Greg McConey is gaining slowly but surely on Everett Larson here.
Yeah, we'll put the time deltas for you right here as we go from lap 41 to lap 46. There has been some gains, but there's also been a few losses here from McConey trying to catch that bumper of Larson. She's that last lap there. Larson pulling out that lead just a little bit more. He's got a lead of about 0.3, so 0.3 right now. And actually improving that over this lap, where now he's actually about 0.6 and increasing more and more. And since we do come to lap 48 here, our stage break is coming up in about 2 laps. Pit road has been closed for these drivers. They are not allowed to pit right now, or they will have to take a penalty. Everett Larson coming up on a little bit of lap traffic. That's going to be Dagan Barnes in that 14 car, sitting on the low side. Larson in the wall just a little bit. I wonder if it's getting a little tight as he goes up there higher and higher.
That was one of the things that I was wondering, as you know, you saw Everett Larson kind of jumping around in the lanes a little bit, trying to break the draft off of Greg McConey, which perfectly acceptable, smart racing strategy. I wondered if he was starting to drift up a little bit higher because all that kind of jumping around might have been keeping his tires up a little bit, and he was starting to feel it get tight on it. But
yeah, I mean, don't look now, but Ira Kohlhaas has moved up to 3rd place right now and is closing the gap between him and Everett Larson. That was about 1.6 about a lap ago, now down to 1.3. Not going to be enough time before the stage break does come out as the 10th place driver crosses the stripe to make it lap 51 next time around. But I mean, that's something that if I'm Larson, if I'm McConey, I'm kind of keeping in the back of my head. This guy's good on the long runs.
Oh, 100%. I know we saw Ira Kohlhaas a little bit as well last season. Again, I believe he was one of those guys that joined us a little bit later in the season, but very easy to see how much talent the guy has. And I think one of the things that really does kind of tell what a driver has in the tank is how they're able to perform on those long runs. And obviously Ira Kohlhaas able to come out here and put on a really good show here as we are about to see the 10th place driver, which is going to be Frank Marchese, going to be crossing the line right here, and that is going to bring out our stage caution for lap 51. Everett Larson going to be winner of your first stage here in the new season of the Knapp Daddy Racing League. Congratulations to Everett Larson on that stage win. Greg McConey going to be taking 2nd place there. Ira Kohlhaas going to be in third. Ty Robertson fourth. Jamie Horn fifth. Mitchell Wilson going to be in sixth place. Brandon Trush in seventh place. Zach Baker in eighth. Brandon Lopez in ninth. And Frank Marchese will round out your drivers who will be taking home bonus points for the stage. Congratulations to all of those guys.
And yeah, as a league owner, I mean, some people may know this, but as broadcasters, we are the broadcasters. We also do own the league as well and run admin for it. But there's nothing you like to see more than a good 52-lap run of green flag racing. Cannot beat that there.
Absolutely. And I mean, we talked about that a lot last season too, where it's just like a lot of people like to consider a caution-free race boring or not exciting, or they're wanting beating and banging and whatever. And even outside of owning and running the league, and as league admins, we want clean racing, which we do very, very much. But also, you get to see these drivers really be put on their heels. You get to see the very best of what they have to offer when it's just strategy. It's pit road strategy. It's managing your tires. It's when to pass. It's when not to pass. It's just getting on and off of the pit successfully. I mean, there's so many different little things that come into it when you have these long runs, especially on green flag races. And I mean, I think we just really saw some of the best these guys have to offer, and that was really, really cool to watch.
Also really cool to see newcomers like Everett Larson out here leading the race. You got Ira Kohlhaas sitting in third place right now. Ty Robertson led a lot of laps here earlier, out here in front too. I mean, as a driver, you want to win every single race, but if you own a league or you're running a league or broadcasting league, I want to see 10 different winners for 10 different races. That is just a fun time. Makes the points a lot more fun, makes the battles a lot more fun. Some of these guys look like just taking some gas and going here.
I 100% think that some of those guys were just a gas and go, which was definitely not what I was expecting.
Mitchell Wilson, part of that group. Everett Larson as well. I believe James Rossetti also doing the same strategy there.
Wonder if they were trying to go down pit road and still be back out so they can get behind the pace car. And then maybe we'll see them loop it back around.
I don't think so. I think they might just run it out. Try to get another 30 laps in here. If the tires aren't too bad, especially having that stop at the beginning, they can kind of gauge what their tires are doing and how they're driving it. If I need to let up a little bit, if I need to push a little bit more. You get percentages on each one of these tires, and personally, 70% for me. My tires get down to 70%. I'm like, all right, we need new tires. This is getting kind of bad, but I mean, some of these guys after a 30-lap run might be having 82%, 85%, depending on how hard they ran it, what line they ran.
Oh, 100%. And that is a scary truth when you start to see some guys that, you're running on those 50% tires. Like I said, I'm a little bit newer to the iRacing, actual being behind the wheel myself, but when you start to feel the back end of that car just start sliding on you, it is terrifying. But Brett Larson, one of those guys who just did a gas and go right there. It's like Mitchell Wilson going to be starting in second place here for this restart. Ty Robertson going to be in third place. Ira Kohlhaas going to be in fourth. Graham Coney going to be in fifth. Jamie Horn sixth. Brandon Trush seventh. Frank Marchese eighth. Ronald Breland ninth. Zach Baker 10th. Thomas McLaughlin 11th. Brian Gibbons 12th. Brandon Lopez 13th. Dagan Barnes 14th. James Rossetti still going to be down on pit road. Currently, he's going to be one lap down, sitting in 15th. Scott Matthews has rejoined with the pack. He's going to be 2 laps down, sitting in 16th, as we get ready to get this thing back underway here at Michigan. Still going to have, I believe it's going to be 70 laps to go when the green flag flies again.
I believe you are correct, sir. I do not see the lights on the pace car. These guys are doubled up, so the pace car is coming down this time by, and we will get going green again. But remember, Larson on those 2 tires, or not 2 tires, but old tires there. And, this could shake some things up, but he did get those stage points. And he might be setting up for the long run here.
And We are back to green flag racing here. Looks like a really good restart from Everett Larson. Ty Robertson did a really good job on that inside lane as well. Looks like that outside lane might have been just a little bit slower. Greg McConey jumps up just a little bit right there. Wanted to get to the middle. Greg going to be side by side with Ira Kohlhaas. As we come to the front stretch there, Ira Kohlhaas able to pull away just a little bit. Look at Ty Robertson taking it all the way down to the yellow line.
Oh, we got a spin back there in the back. That's Brandon Lopez. And the caution flag is going to come out. Well, here's the good news for these guys tonight. My mistake has become another person's treasure, is that I left the fast repairs on for these guys tonight on accident. Normally in this league, they get no fast repairs. Tonight it is set to unlimited. And the way these guys are driving so far, I kind of want to see more of it, so I do not mind if they use them up.
100% not.
I mean, if they come to a consensus on that, if the guys that are racing want to have a gentleman's agreement to use them or not use them, that is up to them. But as far as admin, I do not care. That is my mistake, and I just want to see more good racing from these guys. See if we can rewind that to see what happened there on that. Looks like Dagan Barnes maybe came up just a little bit there. Get a better camera angle of this. Watching Brandon Lopez there on the top side with Dagan Barnes in that 14 right below him. Drifting up some lanes there, yep. And happens to get in the side of him. And with the rules this year, that is going to be an EOL for Dagan Barnes for being the cause car in the accident. While these guys get things straight, we will be right back. And we are back here at Knapp Daddy Racing, just getting the field sorted out here. It's like Greg McConey going to be your leader right now. Frank Marchese, his teammate, right behind him. And also another teammate, Brian Gibbons, right behind him as well. That Trash Panda team currently the owners of the championship from last season. But a lot of guys is Last Row Motorsports looking to challenge that, take it away with some very fast drivers. Unfortunately, Brandon Lopez in a bit of an accident there. And I do not believe he used a fast repair. Not sure what they agreed on in the comments and the voice chat.
I told them they could use it.
I respect it. I respect that a lot. If this was a race where there was multiple wrecks happening left and right and front and center, probably would have had a different opinion about it. But so far, this has been really good racing all the way around.
No, it's been very, very impressive. And it looks like we saw Brandon Lopez trying to rejoin the track right there, but then he comes over the radio and is having some network issues. So he is going to have to try to get caught up here.
Yeah, I saw him just flash in on the bottom side of the track.
So we're having everybody get doubled back up here. Looks like it's going to be Greg McConey taking the green flag here as the pace car dives off lap 59 when we cross the stripe here. Back to racing at Michigan. Big checkup down there on that low side. Greg McConey going to take right off. Everett Larson going to be right behind him. Frank Marchese in that 24 car moved up from 13th place to 3rd now. Ira Kohlhaas going to be hot on his tail in 4th place. Brian Gibbons currently sitting in 5th place. Ty Robertson is going to be 6th, battling side by side with that number 11 car, Ronald Breland. Zach Baker currently sitting in 8th place. Mitchell Wilson in 9th. Dagan Barnes currently sitting in 10th. Thomas McLaughlin 11th. Brandon Lopez 12th. Brendan Trush 13 and Jamie Horn 14. Saw Jamie bring it down there on that last caution flag, but I didn't see him do anything, so
might be a little fuel strategy there. That's going to get him a good 32 laps, so about lap 92, which is about where you want to pit for that last stint there.
That was going to be my thing. It's like, you can call my ignorance on this if you want. Can you see when the car is getting fuel put in it? Because I didn't see anything move. I thought, just being very honest here, that was a bathroom break.
No, that is on our end as a spectator or a viewer. Even the drivers in the car, they cannot see what the other person is having done unless they're getting tires changed. You'll see the car go up and down. There is a setting that you can change for yourself where you see the pit crew drive around or walk around the car and everything. Personally, I like having that set because I will miss my pit box in a second if I don't see those guys in the wall there. So that's why
I would be doomed. Are you kidding?
Yeah, but from what we can see, you cannot see if fuel is being put into the car or not.
So it could be a fuel strategy. Could have been a bathroom break.
And you can see them back here now, both Trush and Horn riding that low side, trying to save as much as possible. So that might be what it is now. It's about a 30 to 32 lap stint here as we pull up the pit box cycles here. Horn and Trush both going 32 laps last time out. So, I mean, they're going to try to stretch this and make this a fuel run.
But right now, your race leader is still going to be Trashman Auto Sports' own Greg McConey. And that number 16 car, Everett Larson, going to be right behind him in the 01 machine. And Greg's teammate, Frank Marchese, going to be sitting in 3rd place right now. Ira Kohlhaas still doing a really good job up there in 4th. We're seeing guys race really hard back there right behind them. Ty Robertson, Brian Gibbons going to be side by side right now. Ronald Breland and Zach Baker they're opening as well. Really, really impressive racing out of all of these guys right now. It's what you want to see in a first race, man. I mean, this is just some good stuff right here.
Yeah, and I'm looking here through all the iRatings and everything that guys have in the league, and I know iRating does not mean anything because I got destroyed earlier this week by a group of iRacers that had like 1,000 iRacing or iRating, and so that means absolutely nothing, but it shows that they have been here and been putting in the work and getting the time in on the officials behind the seat and behind the wheel. And there's a lot of high numbers. I don't know what the strength of the field would technically be, but I had to guess it probably be in the 2,000 somewhere, which is pretty high for iRacing. That
100%.
is probably going to be a high split lobby there.
James Rossetti in the comments saying, good racing, boys. It has been a good night of racing so far. Unfortunate for James's night ended just a little bit early, but looking forward to seeing what he's able to put down over the rest of the season as well. Looks like Scott Matthews in that number 7 car and Jamie Horn. Looks like Scott made a little bit of contact with Jamie, and I think Jamie might have gotten a little bit of air loose following that. But really good save by Jamie. Heard Scott come over the radio. Couldn't tell if he had gotten into him, but was just apologizing there as well.
Yeah, that's kind of how I would love this thing to be ran. That's kind of how my approach to iRacing is. I apologize first, even if it might be my fault. I'm going to apologize because I might have done something to put myself in that situation where I shouldn't have been. But that's the way you build respect with drivers in a league and everything. Because nobody's perfect. Everybody's going to make a mistake. And if you don't believe me, just watch some of my races and I'll prove it to you. There's a lot of mistakes.
Or mine. You'll really see them in mine.
Yeah, if you want to know that point, just go watch Hunter's races a little bit, which we might have on our TikTok stream a little bit more here coming up. So
I am horrified of that.
We got to come up with a good title for it, you know, like Trevor May from the Mets and Oakland A's has Trevor Throws Cheese.
I mean, this one would just be called Hunter Tries Not to Suck, but I get where you're coming from.
There is some good racing going on all around the track right now. Frank Marchese trying to find a spot to slide in and get around Everett Larson. Ty Roberts on the high side there, Ira Kohlhaas. Back behind a little bit, Mitchell Wilson, Zach Baker, Brandon Trush. Trush looking like he was going to put it 3 wide, decides not to. That's Zach Baker there on the low side, going to fall back in line, checking back up here in the front. It's beautiful how these guys split off. One goes high, one goes low to try to get the best advantage as they come through these corners.
It was really cool. And one of the things I also was noticing here is that, you know, normally Greg and really all of Team Trash Panda Autosport usually have a super creative paint scheme based off of their mascot, Rocky the Raccoon. And Greg actually has the number 16 paint scheme tonight, the 16 Forever. Back of it says, "Do it for Dale, be like Biff." I don't think we've been live since that obviously horrible tragedy happened that took the lives of Greg Biffle and his wife and 2 children, but obviously a horrible tragic accident. I didn't know the man personally, but I've heard a lot of wonderful things about him, and obviously a horrible tragedy. It's really cool to see that tribute car from Greg up there at the front. And myself as a resident of North Carolina, currently John, born and raised here, we're both very aware of everything that Greg Biffle did for the Asheville and surrounding communities following Hurricane Helene. I mean, the guy was a hero in North Carolina. He did so much for the community and put a ton of his own money into making sure that people had the necessities to live and internet to be able to call their loved ones. And really a guy that, especially in retirement, seemed like he was very persistent with putting others first and making sure that everybody else was taken care of. And a horrible loss for the racing community, the state, the world. And, obviously, thoughts and prayers to everyone that knew him or his family, and really cool tribute out of Greg McConey here tonight.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Frank Marchese now moving into that second place position behind his teammate Greg McConey. Ty Robertson now going to be sitting in third place. Everett Larson going to be having to fight a little bit here, as both Ronald Breland and Ira Kohlhaas are hot on his tail. We've seen Everett Larson's been doing so well here tonight. Now going to be back in fourth place for the first time in a pretty good while here, with a hard-charging Ronald Breland and Ira Kohlhaas right behind him, and Brian Gibbons in that 74 car. And Brandon Lopez are not far behind.
Yeah, I saw Lopez earlier getting a good push from Mitchell Wilson behind him down that front stretch. Definitely going to help out a lot. And Wilson doing the right thing, letting off right before they got to the corners, making sure not to push him further than he wanted to go.
Yeah, I know Mitchell Wilson, another newcomer to the league. He's going to be teammates with Dagan Barnes, who was racing with us last season. Excited to see what Mitchell's able to bring to the table this season as well. He is going to be currently sitting in 9th place, right there behind Brandon Lopez, his teammate Dagan Barnes. Currently going to be the last car on the lead lap. He's going to be sitting in 14th position. Scott Matthews going to be 1 lap down in 15th. If we do have any other yellow flags, he would be in the position to get his lap back. And then James Rossetti going to be in 16th off the track, unfortunately, with a cut short night here tonight, but looking forward to seeing what else he's able to bring to the table the rest of the season. But we were talking about it earlier tonight, but looking for Team Trash Panda Autosport to have a good night here tonight at Michigan. Now you're seeing two teammates up there at the front.
Oh, Gibbons and Lopez. Lopez able to keep it straight. It is not a caution, it's just a car off the track, able to keep it straight, keep them going. That is very unfortunate for Lopez there. We'll try to get a replay of that in just a second here. Everett Larson had his hands full right now with Ronald Breland. I believe he goes by Gary. I think his iRacing name is Ronald. And what a squeeze by Breland there. That was nice. That's kind of what I talked to our other admin, Greg McConey, before this race started. I love seeing stuff like that happen on the track. It's not dirty, it's not malicious, it just shows that you are a really good driver. You understand the parameters of your car and know what that car can do and how to push it. And it also shows a lot of respect out of Larson too, to give him the space to do so. Which is why I like league racing a lot better than official racing, because league racing you kind of expect drivers to give you a little bit of respect and some room there, and these drivers doing a fantastic job of that tonight. As things kind of get spaced out here for a second, let's see if we can hop back to see what happened with Brandon Lopez, Brian Gibbons. It's like just a misunderstanding of lines between both of those guys there. Both of them able to keep it straight, keep the wheels underneath it. But now if you're Brandon Lopez, now is the time to go. You got to burn those tires, not worry too much about it. Got about 13 seconds to make up. Brandon's got a lot of talent. I'm sure he can do it. Pull that gap closer. You can kind of see that gap closing in already.
Yeah, 100%. You see a lot of other guys that are kind of right in there in the mix as well. I mean, he's only going to be about 4 or 5 seconds behind Thomas McLaughlin, who's currently sitting there in 12th. And you got Scott Matthews, who's a lap down, but still been a fast car here tonight. Definitely some other guys that you can race with to try to work your way back up to the front here, as everything is staying the same currently up front. Greg McCoy will be still out front leading this thing. Frank Marchese going to be sitting in second place, Ty Robertson third, Everett Larson fourth, and Ronald Breland in fifth.
Looks like Horn and Trush are kind of starting to put the pedal down a little bit. But we will continue green here as your leader Greg McConey crosses the stripe, making it lap 80. Going to have about 46 to go here. Greg McConey, Frank Marchese, Ty Robertson make up your top three. Gary Breland sitting in fourth place. And Everett Larson makes up that fifth place spot. Still trying to get back around Breland as hard as he can go here. Trying to get a good run. Just seeing who's willing to push it harder into the corner to get the spot.
been really, really good racing at all of these guys here so far. I even saw a message here popping in here. Everett Larson, golly, Ronald Breland goes around Everett Larson here. Everett Larson says GG11 to Ronald Breland. Heard them both come over the radio and kind of congratulate each other on some good battling right here. And that's what you love to see, just respect of competitors right there. That's really, really good stuff. It's exactly what you love to see. Really good talent out of both of those guys. And that's what we love to see happen, boys.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this league this year is going to be tight. I've still got my eyes on Ira Kohlhaas back there, sitting in 6th place right now behind Everett Larson. Mitchell Wilson right on his heels. We saw that he can turn it on there at the very end of the stint too, so looking to see if he's going to come alive here in the next few laps before this pit cycle is over. As we pull up the pit stints for each driver, you can see Gibbons been out since lap, well, not lap, but he's been out for 29 laps now. McLaughlin 25, Lopez 24, Dagan Barnes 29. Watch up here to your front runners so you can see where they had last pitted at. McConey been out for 30, Marchese out for 30. So we're getting close to that cycle now.
I feel like we're definitely going to start seeing some of these green flag pit stops happen here shortly as we start to see these leaders come up on some lap traffic, or not lap traffic currently. Dagan Barnes still technically on the lead lap, but he is going to be that next car in danger of going a lap down. As you see Ty Robertson down there battling with the 24 of Frank Marchese. Ty Robertson taking it all the way to the bottom, then taking it all the way back up the track to try to get in front, but then Frank Marchese shifts it back low. And now they're going to be racing side by side.
Yeah, Marchese got to the wall just a little bit on exit of turn 4, and that's what allowed Ty Robertson to clear him there. Ty pulling that slide job to get right in front of him. Not so much a slide job, I should say, but looks like Greg McConey bringing it down pit road.
Greg McConey bringing it down pit road. More strategy from the number 16 here tonight. It's going to make your new race leader, Ty Robertson. You see both him and Frank Marchese go around the 14 car of Dagan Barnes, putting him a lap down. Ronald Breland currently going to be sitting in 3rd place right now. He's still got to get around Dagan Barnes and Everett Larson. Mitchell Wilson and Ira Kohlhaas going to be in a line right there behind him and trying to get around.
Ira Kohlhaas just in the wall a little bit there.
You know, when you start seeing these guys get a little bit close on fuel, getting to that about 30 lap gas window, you got to know those tires are hurting, especially if they've been kind of pushing it, trying to tighten up to the front here a little bit as they know the pit cycle is starting to come up. Greg McConey bringing it off of pit road right now.
And it looks like Brian Gibbons following him out of pit road too. I expect to see Frank come in either this lap or the next lap. Looks like it's going to be the next lap.
Brian Gibbons going to be another one of those new Trash Panda Autosport teammates. They're going to be sitting back in 12th and 13th right now, but not for long, as the rest of this field still needs to make their pit stops. John Larson, 6298. Good broadcast, guys. Love it. Appreciate you very, very much.
Thank you.
We love to hear it.
And it will get better and better. A few things from this broadcast lacking tonight, just due to time, and we also do not have all the numbers for the guys yet, so can't make some of the overlays I would like to have that we usually have later in the season.
Trade Paints was acting up. Trade Paints was acting up a little bit, and I think we both kind of had one of those days where life just kicks you in the you-know-what just a little bit, and so it was. I mean, I give us a solid C tonight. It's definitely not the best effort that we can put forward, but you know what C's get? They get degrees. So we're all good. And again, appreciate each and every one of you for joining here with us tonight, whether you're an old fan of the Knapp Daddy Racing League here for Season 2, or if this is your first time joining with us, we appreciate you so much for joining here with us, and I know the drivers do as well. We still have 18 people in here joined with us for this stream. Thank you for joining us on a Monday night to watch what has been amazing racing out of these guys here tonight. And there's a lot of other ways you could be spending your Monday evening, and we appreciate you for spending it with us. For those, whenever we're coinciding with a sporting event, we try to throw in some updates whenever we can. So for those that have been keeping an eye on this instead of the wild card game here on Monday night, I believe they went into halftime. The Texans are currently leading the Steelers 7-6. So if you happened to place some of your currency on the option that this game would go under an allotted amount of points, you're feeling pretty good about that. And I have to be very, very careful about how I phrase that, because there's a few ways I can phrase that YouTube would not be happy with me.
Yeah, well, if you put your allotted amount of money on these drivers coming pit road right now, you would win. What I wouldn't put it on is Frank Marchese staying out as many laps as he did. Out there for about 36 laps before he came into pit. And it looks like he is taking a full set here. Look at Greg McConey. I thought he was going to split him 3 wide and not realize Tyler Robertson was pitting. Looks like Robertson bringing it down, Wilson bringing it down, Larson bringing it down. Cole Haas, Jamie Horn, Brandon Trush.
And Ronald Breland going to stay to the high side there. Let Greg McConey head on around right there. Ronald Breland still going to get his lap led here, get some of those bonus points. We've had a lot of different race leaders tonight, so good to see the competitive racing out here with all of these guys. As we see these green flag pit road cycles go through here on lap 91, looks like that's going to be the end of the green flag run for Ronald Breland, as he's going to go ahead and bring it down. Looks like Zach Baker going to do exactly the same thing. Dagan Barnes also going to be bringing it down. Looks like Brandon Lopez is going to be bringing it down this time as well. See the rest of the guys getting off of pit road. Looks like Everett Larson's coming out right there. Jamie Horn coming out there. Brandon Trush back out on the track as well.
I'm curious to see how much of a gap this is going to be between Breland and McConey when it comes out. I know McConey's going to pass as he just did right there. But Breland's going to have fresh tires to the very end here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be much of a gap, but there's still absolutely going to be a gap there. I mean, just in 2 laps, you can definitely have a different tire wear difference. Whether it'll make a lot of difference for the end of the race, whether it will change how these guys are able to push it at the end, I think a lot will come into how they're pushing this last green flag run as well. I mean, this last green flag run as well is going to be tight, assuming there isn't another caution. I mean, we're on lap 92 here. There's 125 laps left in this thing. These guys still would have to make it like 35 laps under green, which is going to be right at the very end.
Yeah, and Greg McConey pitted on lap 86, so that tells me he might have to pit again. It's going to be very close. He might be able to stretch it, but I don't know. That just seems like too big of a gap for me. You might see him start clutching it up there at the very end, or maybe just staying in 5th gear around the track. I'm not sure if he was shifting to begin with, but definitely want to keep it in that high gear if at all possible.
Yeah, 86 to 125 definitely seems like a gap that's going to be pretty serious. I mean, I'm unsure of the gap for guys that just came out of pit road. I mean, that's already going to be 34, 35 laps.
It's like Dagan Barnes might be having some connection issues there on the bottom of the track. Pull up some time deltas for you right here between your leader Greg McConey and Ty Robertson. As you can see the sectors around the track. That's actually Everett Larson there. I am so sorry. Ty Robertson is about 100th faster around the first half of that track. Let's see what he is going to be around the second part of this track here. Definitely looks like that gap has been closing more and more. Oh yeah, almost 2/10, a little bit over 2/10 faster that time around, just on the second half of the track itself.
Is that Brandon Trush that's just now coming off of pit road there?
It is a possibility there because he did wait quite a bit.
So Brandon Lopez and I think Jamie Horn also just coming off of pit road right there. Currently, your standings going to be Greg McConey sitting in first, Ty Robertson going to be sitting in second, Frank Marchese in third, Mitchell Wilson going to be currently sitting in fourth place, Ronald Breland going to be sitting in fifth. He's going to be battling right there side by side, I believe. Everett Larson and Ronald Breland, are going to be there battling side by side for fifth and sixth. Ira Kohlhaas sitting in seventh, Brian Gibbons in eighth, Zach Baker in ninth. Thomas McLaughlin currently sitting in 10th place. Brandon Lopez is going to be in 11th place. Jamie Horn going to be in 12th. Brandon Trush in 13th. Scott Matthews is going to be a lap down into the 14th position. And then Dagan Barnes back out on the track is going to be in 15th. Heard Dagan come over the radio just now. He was having radio issues and had gotten black flag for something, was trying to radio up to figure out what the black flag was for. And he was having radio issues, so it couldn't come across. So it was about to actually kick him from the session for not pitting for a black flag. And we were able to get that solved there at the last second.
Yes, I just looked back at it. It looks like Brandon Trush and Jamie Horn both hit it again. Probably just to take fuel, knowing they probably would not be able to make it and push it as hard as they could. So very interesting strategy here, as I believe McConey is going to have to pit one more time before this race is over. I'll pull up the pit stop laps for you here. Keep in mind these drivers have been getting about 30 to 33-ish. I think Marchese got a little bit more due to a caution, their stage break one time, but that's going to be very close for a lot of these drivers. I mean, almost every single one in the top 10.
I mean, I'm unsure if anybody can make it again. 'Cause like you said, I think Marchese did a really good job of saving and then you also had the caution to help that, and he was able to get 36 out of it. If you had said before the race that they were going to be able to get 36 out of it, I would have said you're lying. So I'm already very shocked that Frank was able to get 36 out of it. And I think for these guys that pitted like right at the very last second, so it would have been like lap 91, lap 92. I mean, you're already having to go now at this point 38, 39 laps. I think that's a huge stretch. And then for guys like Greg and I believe Ty as well, who both pitted earlier than that, I mean, you're pushing 40 laps. I just don't see any way that that happens, but you can definitely still have the strategy to try to run it until the very end, because at least then you're out there putting time on the guys that did come back down and pit. Like you said, Brandon Trush, Jamie Horn, both brought it back down, but now they've got to bank on that no one else can make it, no one else can save enough, and being able to get caught back up, because both of them are going to be 36 and 37 seconds behind the race leader, Greg McConey, right now.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if they're going to if Greg would have enough time to get down pit road and just take fuel. And if I'm Greg, I'm watching the deltas between me and drivers like Jamie Horn, Brandon Trush, who did take that quick little pit stop there for fuel. And if they are catching me at all, and if I have any doubts in my mind that I cannot make it, I'm pitting immediately. I don't want to wait, don't want to let them close that gap at all, because I still don't even know if 37 seconds is enough to get down pit road, get your splash of gas, and get out ahead of them.
No, I mean, it's going to be close. Because, I mean, when you consider the lap times of what these guys are putting down right now, Greg McConey with a 38.663 last time by, Jamie Horn with a 38.789. So, I mean, Greg McConey's still out there absolutely burning it down right now, putting down great lap times. But that puts him, I mean, he's maybe a second and a half, 2 seconds behind Brandon Trush. And maybe 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds behind Jamie Horn. So he's about as close as you can get without putting somebody a lap down. And I still don't know that that's enough time to get down, get that gallon of gas or whatever the least amount you can take is, and be able to get back out there. But, I mean, we have just seen so many different strategies in play tonight. We've seen Greg take those different fuel pit strategies here all night long. Obviously been working very well up to this point. Greg been putting on a show out here, still sitting in first, led a lot of laps here tonight. Then you got Jamie Horn, Brandon Trush out there, who we're on lap 104 of 125. Normally you would say 12th and 13th, which is our first and second positions last on the lead lap. With about 20 laps to go is not where you'd want to be, but there is a method to the madness.
Right here, I can't pull up the last time they pitted and what time that was on pit road, but Jamie Horn did take Just Fuel one pit stop that showed up for about 34.3 seconds. But you have to also think too, that is, you got to take into account slowing down to get on pit road and also getting back up to speed off of pit road. I mean, that is going to be as close as it gets there.
I mean, if you're any of these guys that are in that top 5 right now, this is a concern because you probably know that you can't make it. Probably can. Might be able to pull some magic. I don't know. If any of them are able to stay out completely, I'm dying to ask them in the interviews at the end how they did it because I just don't see how the math adds up. But I also didn't do that good in math, so you can take that into account if you want to as well. But you also, like, these guys in the top 5, even if you're thinking, like, okay, I probably am going to have to pit. It's not even as simple as, okay, I'm either going to pit and risk it or not pit and risk it. You then have to have the pit stop of your life. I mean, you have to absolutely ace it in every capacity. Because, I mean, as you and I are both very aware, making mistakes on pit road, you miss your pit box by a little bit. You slow down too much on entry. God forbid you don't slow down enough and get a speeding penalty. That's your race. But if you slow down more than you need to, you spin tires trying to get back out of pit lane. I mean, that's 2-3 seconds added to the entire time you're going down pit road. And that can make the swing between making a catchable difference or not.
Yeah, and Frank Marchese just did the same thing you're talking about there. Slid just past his box, getting down pit road there. I mean, a race like this, a race is won and lost on pit road. That's just kind of how it is. And you can see Brandon Trush on the back bumper now of Greg McConey. Not fourth position. I believe that's actually from McConey getting around them to put them a lap down.
That is exactly what that is. That is Greg McConey putting Brandon Trush a lap down. I mean, because that's the other thing is if you're Greg McConey, you can kind of look at it one of two ways. You can either be like, I probably can't make it, so I need to pit, like right now, or you can look at it from the perspective of, I can't make it, so I'm going to run this thing into the ground until I can't, until I have to pit. I mean, when you think about it here, like Greg McConey last lap, 38.733. Jamie Horn's last lap was a 38.803. Brandon Trush's was a 38.897. Mitchell Wilson, second place driver right now, 38.8. Ty Robertson, 39.5. I mean, Greg McConey is putting barn burner times down right now as we're about to come into lap 110, giving us only 15 laps to go.
Kind of makes me think that guys like Everett Larson might be hitting a little bit of a clutch here as they come into the corner. I apologize, we were working through some volume issues tonight. This is Everett Larson here right along him, and that's exactly what he's doing, hitting that clutch, coasting around, trying to save fuel and see if he can stretch it out. That is two next level chess moves I've seen out of Everett Larson tonight. We will have that volume problem fixed by next week. Yeah, I don't think Greg's saving very much though. So I mean, he's just trying to get there, send it, and get as far out in front as possible before he does make that pit stop. It's just a matter of when he's actually going to pull the trigger to come in. I'm kind of surprised he is staying high on the track here. I don't know if he's doing this just to maintain speed and create that gap a little bit further. He just feels more comfortable there. Normally you will want to try to stay low and try to keep the smallest circle possible. Less distance, less gas.
I mean, either way, the different strategies that have been coming into play here tonight, crazy. And I think that makes for wildly exciting racing, especially being up here in the booth, watching it all happen live and being able to look back at numbers and be like, oh, well, this person pitted here, this person pitted here. And just thinking about what I would do, or thinking about what I would advise you to do if I was spotting for you, or what you would do if you were behind the wheel.
And would I listen?
Absolutely not.
No.
I say that in saying that I have been John's spotter for, wow, I guess coming up on 2 years now. And when I say spotter, I mean it's more of a advising where wrecks are happening and things like that, because I do try to offer advice and what I would do or things that we should do, so on and such forth. And I can count on one hand the amount of times he's listened. So more often than not, it's just an issue of who ends up being right and who gets to say I told you so at the end.
I think you're winning that one though. It does not seem to work out for me.
The last couple times, I think, and I'll put my hand up on that, I think the last 2 times I gave John a piece of advice when he was behind the wheel, I think he ended up being right and I had to eat crow at the end.
Oh yeah, if I'm right, I'm going to let you know.
But before that, I was on a pretty good streak. And here is the moment for your race leader, Greg McConey. Calls it over the radio, bringing it down onto pit road on lap 114. Good entry by Greg McConey.
Let's see him get to that stall. You know he is shaking, at least I would be. He is probably cool as a cucumber right now. But
he knows he needs to be absolutely perfect right here. It was a great entry.
What a stop, too. What a stop.
Perfect stop. Perfect stop.
Mitchell Wilson's going to be your new race leader. Ty Robertson behind him by about 9 seconds. Looks like he's probably saving a little bit of fuel, too, with some of these lap times. He is putting
that's the thing now. Now Greg has come down pit road. Now Greg knows he can make it. He's done everything he can do. He's rolled the dice on the pit road strategy, and he had one last step that he had to make right there.
And look at this.
Which was having a perfect pit stop, and he did it.
And he is just in front of Jamie Horn. So, I mean, timed perfectly there. And I believe if everybody in front of them pits, this is how it's going to cycle out. Here at the end, if they have to pit, there are other strategies out in play still. The one that I really like, Everett Larson, we saw him coasting around, kind of falling back a little bit, but kind of intentional falling back while he's riding that clutch to save as much fuel as possible. Mitchell Wilson bringing it down.
Number 7 of Scott Matthews coming down. Now Mitchell Wilson bringing it down. I mean, Greg McConey just did that. If this strategy ends up working, watching this play out is a masterpiece, because he did that exactly how he needed to do it. So now what Greg McConey is thinking is he's now 4 seconds ahead of Jamie Horn and Brandon Trush. He knows I'm going to sneeze. So 1 second. We're back.
He knows I'm going to sneeze.
I don't know about that part, but I did.
He knows. Greg knows.
So now he knows he's 4 seconds ahead of Jamie Horn and Brandon Trush, both of whom he knows can make it on gas. And then now it's a game with everybody else in front of him. Greg now being 23 seconds behind the race leader, who is currently going to be Ty Robertson. Second place is going to be Ronald Breland, and then Zach Baker. Ty Robertson and Ronald Breland right next to each other right now. About maybe 0.3 of a separation between them. They've got Thomas McLaughlin in between them, who is currently a lap down in 13th place. Greg has to know, and same thing for Jamie and Brandon. And now same thing for Mitchell now that he's come down and gotten gas. Though they have to know that everyone in front of them, if they are going to make it, they are going to have to clutch it. They are going to have to be in crazy fuel saving mode, which is going to cost you time. Now, whether Greg has enough momentum to gain 22 seconds back without having to clutch it, I don't know. Especially with there only being 6 laps left in the race. But now, Greg, Mitchell, Jamie, Brandon, all of them 100% can make it on fuel. And again, I'm going to be the first one to put my hand up here. I don't know that anybody else can make it.
I don't know either. I'm watching these drivers up front. We just saw Gibbons take it down pit road, and it's kind of just seeing who's going to stay up latest here. How long you're going to stay on the track if you're willing to risk it here or need to bring it down. I mean, at this point, looking at the lap times right now, McConaughey's only gaining about a second per lap on Robertson ahead of him with only 6 to go, and that is not going to be enough to make up that gap of 22 seconds. But you got to think with these guys pushing it like they are, if they are pushing it at all, but somebody's going to start falling off. You are probably going to gain spots here, but Mitchell Wilson able to get around McConaughey for right now.
I think I heard Greg saying over the radio that he was talking to Mitchell, saying that we're in a good spot right now. I mean, you're going to just have to see where the times line up. I mean, lap 121, we're getting closer and closer to that breaking point of who is actually going to have enough gas in the tank to finish this thing.
And now, Robertson been out for 31 laps, Breland out for 30, Baker out for 30, Larson out for 30, Kohlhaas for 30. So this is about the time that they are going to have to start pitting right here. It's going to make or break on a normal cycle. Does not count how much they have saved or clutched in around the corners. This is going to come down to it. This is going to be a very strategic race here.
100%. And I know, like we said earlier, I think the longest stint we've seen tonight was Frank Marchese, who was 35, I believe.
Yes.
And that is the longest we've seen anybody go tonight. We still have, it's going to be 4 laps to go, or 3 laps to go this time by. And these guys are now on lap 32. No cautions to help. They can clutch it. They can do whatever they can do. But, I mean, that's still, you're talking about people coming across on fumes at this point. I really do think so. I mean, these guys have done a good job there. Ty Robertson, Ronald Breland here, which also not teammates. They are just guys who kind of know, I think, both know what kind of situation they're in. Actually, nobody in that top 3 pack right there is a teammate. That's a lie. Thomas McLaughlin's teammates with Ty Robertson. Oops. Still getting used to all the teams there, but Thomas McLaughlin going to be a lap down here. And again, a pretty good deal behind Ty Robertson here. Zach Baker about 6.9 seconds behind. He's going to be in 3rd place. Everett Larson going to be in 4th. Ira Kohlhaas 5th. Brandon Lopez 6th. Greg McConaughey 7th. Mitchell Wilson 8th. Jamie Horn 9. Brandon Trush 10. Frank Marchese 11. That is all of your drivers that are currently on the lead lap here. All right. As we are going to be taking the white flag this time by Ronald Breland, making a move to the inside of Ty Robertson here on the last lap of our very first race of the season. There's contact. There's contact.
Breland able to get around.
Breland able to get around Ty Robertson here.
Ty with a
as we go into
sin.
the last lap. That was a big send by Ty Robertson into that entry right there. Good exit by Ronald Breland. Come to the home stretch for the final time. I think Ty Robertson's running out of gas. Ronald Breland's running out of gas. Ronald Breland going to be your winner of the very first race of the season here in the Knapp Daddy Racing League. Ty Robertson coming home second. Zach Baker coming home in third. Everett Larson going to be in fourth. Brandon Lopez in fifth. Already hearing guys come over the radio saying they were running out at the line. Gray McConey going to be coming home in sixth. Mitchell Wilson, seventh. Ira Kohlhaas, eighth. Jamie Horn going to finish ninth. Brandon Trush, 10th. Frank Marchese, 11th. Thomas McLaughlin going to come home in 12th. Brian Gibbons, 13th. Scott Matthews, 14th. Dagan Barnes, 15th. James Rossetti going to come home in 16th.
I don't think he has enough gas to burn it down, but man, what a strategy play there. Everett Larson pushing his teammate Ty Robertson back to the pits.
Greg McConey giving Ronald Breland a little bit of a push to get him over the line there. What a race by these guys. I don't know that Ronald has enough gas to burn it down, but he's going to make an attempt. Congratulations to Ronald Breland in that number 11 car on his win in the first race of the Knapp Daddy Racing League here tonight at Michigan International Speedway. Gonna make a little pose there, try to burn it down. What a race here tonight for the first race.
Yeah, that thing is done. It's got nothing left in it. And we will have those final results for you here in just a second. We are going to take a quick break and get right back to you.
Yeah.
So we are going to be getting over here to your interviews with your top three. We will have your unofficial results here for the race up on the screen here in just a second. But in the meantime, we are going to go ahead and bring up your third place finisher here tonight. It was going to be the number 12 of Zach Baker, racing for Trash Panda Autosport. Zach, you got Hunter up in the booth. You got a copy.
What's up?
What is up, man? Congratulations on that finish here tonight, man. What a great race it was. Talk to me about that strategy going into that last green flag run. We were talking about it up here in the booth, how even those guys that kind of pitted really late into the green flag run were probably going to be tight. How tight were you on gas? And talk to me about how you were able to parlay that into the finish tonight.
Extremely tight. After that caution right after, I was like, you know what, we're gonna commit to this. After the caution right after the stage break, I'm like, the math is there. Like, I think it was like 34 or something like that. And I ran out of gas after crossing the stripe in turn 1 and 2.
In turn
So
one, wow.
1 and 2, and coasted all the way back to pit road after the race was over. So yeah, it was tight.
We were thinking it was just gonna have to be like right up against it. There was a couple guys that ran some different strategy behind you, I think, including your teammate Greg McConey. But it was still a amazing finish. Talking about how the race went tonight for you, like in general, and what your kind of strategy was coming in here tonight, and I guess how it kind of played out for you here at the end.
Well, the funny thing about strategy, and I've learned this a lot in this league because we're like pretty clean and everything. It could be one thing and then it just turns into another. I was just going to run as hard as I could for as long as I could, and then just the moment you see that, like a little indicator is like, okay, cool. Actually, this maths out. I think I can make it. It just changes, and like you just have to be able to adapt. And I think that's like why Ronald and Ty also got where they were. Like because it's really hard to pass here unless you trade tires for position, or you're just in clean air and you have to hold it. So you have to do something a little bit different to make up those spots. And big thanks to Brian, Frank, and Greg, and everybody like in our team chat, Trash Band Autosport, and we're just bouncing ideas off of each other, when to pit, you know when to push, when not to push, what lanes are coming in well, like everything like that.
I love to hear that, man. Well, again, congratulations on the finish here tonight. What an opener to the season for you. Looking forward to seeing a lot more from you as the rest of the season goes on. Before we let you get on and get out here for the night, do you have any sponsors or shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, shout to obviously Trash Panda Autosport, my team. Obviously NappDaddyRacing.com, and you guys for putting on the league, of course. And shout out to my wife for letting me be a pretend racing driver every Monday night.
Yeah, mine too, man. It's awesome. But
Can't do it
congratulations
without
once again.
can't do it without her.
Can't do it without her, man.
Yeah, she
Otherwise, this is
watches
a
my
whole different
kids. She
podcast.
watches our kids, so you know.
Well, again, man, congratulations here, and look forward to seeing what you do with the rest of the season. And we'll see you next time.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Take care. That is going to be your third place finisher, Zach Baker here. We will bringing up the full unofficial results here in just a few moments, where we are going to continue with the interviews. In the meantime, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up your second place driver here tonight, which is going to be Mr. Ty Robertson. Ty, you got Hunter up in the booth. Do you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Hey, man, congratulations on that run here tonight. It was really, really impressive what you were able to put down tonight. Lots of laps led. Talk about the fuel strategy and if it changed as the race went on. How early did you decide that you were going to be sticking it out right till the very end and not coming down pit road? And how close was it there at the end?
Oh yeah. Honestly, I didn't even realize I was gonna make it the first run before I pitted, so I wasn't really saving much. I wasn't thinking about it then. But then I realized I was only a couple laps short when I came out the second pit stop. So I decided to back it off and try saving it. Ronald went that extra lap, so it gave him the advantage. unfortunately, my teammate tried to give me a bump, but there wasn't really anywhere to go with it. It's unfortunate to come up second, but it was a great race.
It was a great race here tonight, man. And talk to me about how your kind of strategy went on, I guess, throughout the season here, or throughout the race, excuse me, and how it changed throughout the night. Where you focus more on tires coming in and then ended up being a fuel race at the end, or did things kind of go more according to the way you thought they would here tonight?
Honestly, I probably could have took a set of tires into that first pit stop, and it maybe could have got the stage win, but I decided not to. Just try and save one for the end in case there was a yellow. But yeah, I mean the car was great. It just unfortunate circumstances we end up with a P2.
Well, still a really great run for you here tonight, man. Big start to you for the season. Also, our pole winner here tonight as well. So definitely going to be looking forward to seeing what that car can continue to do throughout the rest of the season. Again, really great run for you here tonight. Before we let you get out of here, any sort of sponsors or shout outs you want to give to the crowd?
I give a shout out to Body Armor on my car, Exalta, Monster Energy, Napa, and then I want to give a shout out to my family and also my girlfriend.
Yeah, got to make sure you give the girlfriend the shout out. Otherwise, you're gonna hear about that one at the in
Yeah,
a little bit. But congratulations again, man! Big run for you here tonight. Looking forward to seeing what you do with the rest of the season, and we will be looking forward to talking to you next time.
appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. Mhm. There's going to be Ty Robertson in the number 88 car. We're going to be pulling up the rest of the results here very shortly. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the number 11 car of Ronald Breland here. Ronald, you got Hunter up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, really incredible run from you here tonight. We've been talking to everybody. Me and John were talking about it up in the booth. The different fuel strategies we were seeing here tonight. At what point during that last run were you like, okay, we're gonna stick it out. We're gonna drive it till the end. You know, excuse me. I know you must have seen some of the other guys coming down to get some gas. And at what point did you decide, all right, we're just gonna try to ride it out till the end?
Honestly, it was a very late decision, maybe 5 or 10 to go. When I saw Ty coming back to me, he had a good, I think 5 or 6 second lead out on me, and it dropped to 3 seconds in a lap or two, and that's when I decided to go ahead and look at my fuel, and I realized that we were going to be either real short, and I was going to have to do some saving, or we were going to have to come down pit road. And so I just started saving, and yeah, it worked out.
Definitely worked out for you there, man. Talk to me about the kind of race as a whole. Like, did you come in here with a particular strategy of how you were going to run tonight? I mean, you were going to be very focused on tires or track position, and then how did that change throughout the night based on how the other guys were running? It was so competitive tonight, and obviously very few cautions. So I mean, you had to kind of think on the fly. But talk to me about what you were thinking coming in, and then how that had to change as the race went on.
Yeah, for sure. I think initially my only strategy with practice, it seemed like the tires went away, relatively quickly. And so my main goal was just tire preservation. I didn't even end up taking tires until the comp caution, which I maybe a few other cars did that. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, the tires didn't wear for whatever reason in the race, um, as much as as expected. So that initial long green flag run, I just saved and saved, and just kind of rode around in the back. And then as the race progressed, and after that comp caution, I figured I'd push a little bit and see what the car had. Um, we had a great car tonight, so I think that helped. And the strategy, it seemed like the strategies were all over the place from all the other drivers, so that was cool to see.
Yeah, it was definitely really fun to watch up here in the booth, man. Everyone seemed to have a different idea of how they were going to bring it home tonight. And again, congratulations on a great run here tonight in the first race of the season at Michigan International. Before we let you get out of here, any sponsors or shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, huge shout out to Quackpack Racing, Chris Stoppings with all of our paints, all of our everything like that, and then just a shout out to the Hamlin family. Praying, big tragedy for sure. So just praying for Denny and the family.
100%, man. We were talking about some of the other tragedies that NASCAR's had this year. It's been a really tough year, but definitely appreciate that. Again, congratulations on a great run tonight. Looking forward to seeing what you're able to do with the rest of the season, and we will talk to you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. Take care.
You too.
And that is going to be the first place finisher here tonight. Ronald Breland got Goofball Gaming in the chat saying that was super fun. I had so much fun racing with y'all. I'm not sure who Goofball Gaming is, but we appreciate you racing with us. I will try to learn the different YouTube usernames as the season goes on. But again, that has been our first race here tonight from Michigan International Speedway for the first race of the season with the Knapp Daddy Racing League. Really, really awesome race. So much fun to watch with all of the different strategies. Again, your unofficial results and statistics tonight is going to have Ronald Breland in first place, Ty Robertson in second place, Zach Baker in third, Everett Larson in fourth, Brandon Lopez in fifth, Greg McConey in sixth, Mitchell Wilson in seventh, Ira Kohlhaas in eighth, Jamie Horn in ninth, Brandon Trush 10, Frank Marchese in 11th, Thomas McLaughlin going to be 12th, Brian Gibbons in 13th, Scott Matthews in 14th, Dagan Barnes in 15th, and James Rossetti in 16th. Goofball Gaming is Everett. Okay, so now we know that for the future. Everett, congratulations on the finish tonight. It was really good being able to see your race. But great job to all of our drivers once again tonight. Thank you to everyone who joined us for the race, stuck around, and enjoyed the race. I know me and John had a blast being back up here in the booth broadcasting this. For all of you guys, remember to like and subscribe if you haven't yet so you don't miss any of the racing action that we're going to be bringing you for the rest of the season. Thank you for being loud in the comments, cheering on all your drivers. I know they're going to appreciate going back and listening to it, and let's just keep it going for the rest of the season. It's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. Again, if you haven't checked out Knapp Daddy Racing, check out knappdaddyracing.com if you need any sort of iRacing custom paints, logos, schemes, anything like that. Even if you just want to buy a hat or a t-shirt, help support the boys, we would definitely appreciate it. Be sure to follow us, not only here on YouTube, like I just said, but also on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We go live on TikTok as often as we can. I believe the next thing we're going to be doing on there is seeing how much I suck in iRacing. So if you want to see me get very angry and embarrass myself, be sure to check us out over there. But other than that, looking forward to being with you next week. It's going to be a good one. John, anything final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, I think tonight was a big sigh of relief, especially watching the first race play out, but watching how much these guys have respect for each other and the driving styles all coming together. And also just very competitive racing, just a lot of lead changes and a lot of people trying to hold spots and stuff. But very good racing all around. Can't wait to go to Texas next week and see what it brings. I think we got a few more drivers going to be joining us next week and hopefully keep the thing growing more and more and get more people in here. So if you're looking for a place to race, this is it right here Monday nights, gridding up at 8:35 after our qualifying. We'll also go live here at 8:15 every week. A little bit later tonight, 8:20ish, just due to a driver's meeting we had prior to the race starting, but every broadcast from here on out will start at 8:15. But yeah, that's going to be just about it for us tonight, and we'll hopefully see you guys back next week as we head out to Texas for week 2 of this 10-race season here, and some exciting updates coming along with that, with the playoffs and how they're going to work, and even including a wild card spot where drivers that are just outside the playoff bubble will have a chance to fight their way in through one race a few drivers in a wild card seed and try to get their way in. So it's going to be a good time, and we'll have the schedule up soon. But it is a jam-packed schedule full of really good stuff. I'm actually very proud of the playoff schedule itself and the tracks that we're going to. It's going to be a lot of fun all season long. But that's going to be just about it for us here tonight. For the last time, I have been John.
I've been Hunter.
And we will see you guys next time.
Take care, everybody.